Hello everyone, my name is Ruan and welcome to week number 15 of learning computer science in 2 years. So what happened this week? I spent 20 hours of studying this week, so it's not 30. It's certainly an improvement from last week, but as you can see, it looks a bit odd, right? This doesn't look so nice. Okay, so basically, my schedule, as you can see, was kind of out of control, right? Things were a bit up in the air. Like on Monday, I did 1 hour of 3 different things. That's a bit strange, so it was very broken up. Tuesday, I did nothing. Wednesday was nice and focused. Tuesday, again, almost did nothing. Friday, got a good 4 hours in there. Saturday, nothing. And then Sunday, I finished strongly and I got in 7.5 hours. So I pushed hard on Sunday to try and round out my week, just get to the 20 hours. I really wanted to get to 20 hours at least. I was not getting less than 20 hours a second week in a row. I mean, this happens. My schedule currently is a bit, it's not so lacquer. It's a bit confusing. So my studies don't really fit so nicely. This might be the case for a few more weeks. I don't really know how life's going to shake out, so we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely try to keep doing better, aim for a little bit more the next week than I did the previous week, each week, until I can get back to that 30-ish hours mark on a weekly basis. But for now, I'm happy with this. And let's actually discuss what did I do this week. First of all, you'll see there's a new thing on here called small project. So I didn't really know what to do here because it's not the big, web application that I was making for the end or the CS50 final project, right? It's not that one. And I didn't want to put it in the same line on the spreadsheet because then I wouldn't be able to track the CS50 one. So it was kind of nice being able to, knowing exactly how many hours I've spent building that website. So I need to rejig this a bit, maybe call that thing something else or, be more specific on which project is which and give them each their own little line if it's a big enough project. I didn't throw that into the CS50 projects line because then I wouldn't know exactly how much time I've spent on that website, basically. Okay, but that's a new thing that I did. It's not something incredibly amazing, right? All I did was I built a little Python application that takes CSV files and basically it cleans up the data, categorizes things, and then it spits out a CSV file. That's all it does now. It might do some more things in the future, but for now, that's kind of what it does. And this is part of like a financial planning or budget type application, right? So it takes your CSV from, let's say, your bank for your specific account, and then it filters through all the transactions and puts them into different categories, and then you can see how much you spend on what type of thing. Right, so that's basically the premise. It doesn't really do much after that. So I still have to figure out what else I wanted to do. Do I want this to be displayed to me visually in some way? Do I want a graph? Do I want a pie chart? That's where I'm now. So I played around with that and it was good. It was something new. It was something different. I started on a clean slate. So, it's kind of nice starting on a clean slate every once in a while with a project. So I did the missing semester of your CS education. I continued with that. Mostly week 4, which is data wrangling. And that week was kind of the inspiration for this Python project as well, because you do a lot of data wrangling, right? So you get to a point where they show you how to use regular expressions, etc. So I did a lot of learning on that front, playing with regular expressions. And that kind of inspired me to try and make this application that takes real world data, uses a bunch of regular expressions to try and filter through it, and produces some kind of a useful thing. Yeah, that's basically how far I got. I started a little bit with week 5, but I didn't really get far. So that's next week's problem. Okay, from there, what did I do in my CS50 project? So you did see that I put 1 hour there. Now, this was a issue that we were having for quite a while where you would get a internal server error every once in a while when doing anything related to a SQL database. So I at least narrowed it down to that. When you queried a SQL database, so loading specific pages or making a booking, etc., does that, the thing will break. And the error kept saying that, look, it's not something on your side, it's a timeout or a connection error, reset, blah, blah, whatever, wherever your MySQL server or your MySQL database is being hosted, right? So that was kind of frustrating because I thought, okay, so I can't do anything about this. But I knew you could do things like try except statements, where you do exception handling. So you try something, if there's an error, you don't necessarily just bomb out. So I thought about that. Maybe I could use some exception handling to counteract that error. But eventually I figured out that, look, there's actually a setting that you can set using SQL Alchemy. It's got to do with pooling, and it's called pool pre-ping. Right, so this is a form of disconnect handling. Now, there are many different ways of handling disconnects. This is the way I chose to go because it seemed pretty straightforward. Basically, all this does is, if pooling is also another thing that I'm not going to get into the technicalities, but all it does is it just takes your connection, it pings the server, checks if it's still valid, and it does that 3 times before it will actually fail. And what I've actually noticed is, a lot of the time, let's say you try something on the website and it fails. If you refresh once or twice, it usually just works. I think this pre-ping would be a way of catching that error, because you're pinging it at least 3 times before we give up. And normally it'll just give up on the first try. So I think it'll basically fix the problem. And so far it has. We haven't had any problems since that Monday that I implemented it. So that's good. So the next thing then would be calculus, right? So I did a bit of calculus on Monday, and then I really did calculus on Sunday, like really. And I would not recommend this. Doing 7.5 hours of calculus, it's a bit rough.
Nonsense, poopy pants!
It's a lot of work, and calculus is quite demanding, right? It's not like you just sit there and watch a video for 7 hours. You do calculus. Like, my calculus book is overflowing right now. But anyway, I did get through it. I had to split it up into a 4-hour session in the morning and then a 3.5-hour session in the evening. I actually finished everything up to, it's like the second last section, right? So I'm up to integration by parts. I finished that. So the next thing is just calculating surface area and arc lengths. Once I've done that, I'm done with integration. I'm done with calculus 1B. So that's it. Then I'm done with the second big part of calculus. Next week, I still have that one module or section left to go. And that should take me 2 to 3 hours, maybe, max. And then from there, it's exam preparation. So I'll probably go back and I'll do the problem sets on the MIT OpenCourseWare website. I'll work through those. I'll do the exams that are up there as well. I'll do exam prep, notes, making my notes, etc. All of that now after the fact, because I like to work through it all, then go back, make the notes, and then tackle those problem sets with the cheat sheet, so to speak, next to me, because that's all my notes are. They're basically just a cheat sheet. But yeah, that's it. So actually, calculus is going somewhere. I'm happy for that, because it's already been 48 hours. Now, I should still be able to finish within the 65 hours that were allocated for calculus 1B. Anyway, guys, I hope you've had a productive week this week, and I hope you have a productive week next week as well. If you've liked this video, please click on that button, leave a comment. I'll get to you someday. I try to read and reply to the comments if I can. Unfortunately, the more time I spend doing that, the less time I'm actually studying. So, it's a bit of a thing. Anyway, leave one anyway. Let's see what happens. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.